Yo, what's going on, guys? Ron here, aka Neos, and today I want to bring y'all some replays of me playing Mitsurugi Fiendsmith. So, I have a lot of different replays to show y'all. I have Lunalight, I've got Malice, I've got Mathmech, and I've got a mirror match, right? So, no spoilers, no spoilers. I think those are all going to be all the replays that I'm going to showcase today. I have a couple more, but I don't think they're quite, really good content for y'all. Just, like big mistakes either made by my opponent or like by myself. And I'm just like, they just don't really make that, really good content. But these games that I'm going to show y'all are great. All right. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to jump in the first set of games, and we're going to start off low with Malice. Alright guys, so this is me versus Malice. I'm actually going to go ahead and move my camera out of the way just so that y'all can see a little bit better. I'm going to kind of cover up one of the pictures here because those don't really matter. Y'all want to see like, life points, stuff like that. You want to see the field, graveyards, stuff like that. This gives y'all a good view. And so yeah, so this is game 1 against Malice. I was fortunate enough to actually win the rock, paper, scissors here. So here, looking at my hand, I was like, ooh, not that good because everything I have plays into draw. Pre-prep like doesn't give me anything. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go Engraver. If I don't get hit, that's fine. There's not really a lot I can do because, like I said, I'm gonna get Jolt either way. I'm just gonna pass turn. I'm gonna try to Mulcharmy them and play through like an Ash Blossom, and I'll pray. So luckily here, I don't get Drolled, so I'm like, all right, cool. Full Fiendsmith combo. Here we go. Try to bait out any interaction from my opponent because I have, pre-prep. Like, and I've shown y'all, or at least I've talked about it. Pre-prep is absolutely crazy, right? Being able to search Mirror and Habakiri, it's, it's a starter plus the later extender, right? So, like I said, Fiendsmith combo here, Lurie for Rec Room for Lacrima. We're going to go ahead, dump the Engraver to the graveyard. So here we go ahead, effect to equip, and actually I dumped the trap here instead. I believe that this game is actually before I knew about the double Engraver combo. So funny enough, right? I think I was only playing one Engraver in this deck. So yeah, and I think I was actually playing at the time like 2 Murakumas. Like I said, this is a little bit. This is probably like I don't want to like not quite a week old, but it's getting close to there. So this is before like I had fully optimized the deck. So, keep in mind on that. You're also probably going to see Moon instead of Sequence. I'm sorry, you're going to see Moon instead of Exciton Knight, but literally every time I make Moon, it's with the 2 level 4 bodies. So, like I said, it's basically the same for the most part. We go ahead, we make Necroquip here, and then I actually go effect to Reborn, shuffling back for cost Lurie with the Fiendsmith Engraver, and I get Bestial, and I'm like, bro, Bestial? I was like, okay. And he activates this. I'm like, do I Ash this? I'm like, no, it's fine. I'd rather save my Ash for something more important because I'm like, if I'm seeing a Bestial, like at this point, like in my head I was thinking branded. I was like, is this branded? Am I playing against like branded Draco Tail? So I'm like, all right, well that's fine. Go ahead, activate pre-prep here. So I got big wombo combo here. Search special off the Saji. Saji's gonna get us to Ritual spell. We're gonna go ahead, Ritual summon from hand. We're going to tribute Night Sword Serpent and Kusanagi. Chain 1, Chain 2. Bring that back out. Add back to hand. Ritual Summon from deck this time. So Murakuma's going to go and activate. We're going to go Chain 1 in the graveyard. Chain 2 on the field. That way, we make sure we get our follow-up. Everything else like that. He probably would have ashed us on the effect of the Ritual from deck anyways, but you can never be too safe. So, like I said, we already have access to me here. And I actually get access to prayers, which is really good. So we go ahead and activate. I actually activate prayers here, and I decide not to tribute here. What I could have done is tributed off the Habakiri to get like an extra body from the deck to special summon, because as you can see here, we've gone through the other 2, but not Aramasa. So that probably would have been better because I could have gotten another Habakiri to hand, right? That way I still had 1 in deck, 1 in the grave, 1 in hand, but all good. In hindsight, didn't really need it. I go ahead and mirror now because now I'm going to be able to search with the Habakiri, and because like I said, I probably would have been hit by Ash or something by now. I get access to the trap, and then I special it back, and as you can see, I have a full board. And also, at this point, if my opponent nibs me, so be it, right? I could, like, normal summon Fuelos, and that would be, that plus the token can make IP. This is going to come back, search me the prayers, which is really good, right? So I would have Magatama, the Purification, and prayers. So, and I would have IP and obviously Futsu on field, which is perfectly fine. So go ahead, I use these two, right, to make the IP. This gets banished. And then I try to go end phase here. He goes end of main. He goes the effect of hair in hand. I'm like, okay, well, I'm probably not going to get a chance to use the Murakumo, this turn. So I'm like, chain, maybe I can get something valuable out of it. He just discards the Chessy Cat and then banishes it to bring it back, which is fine, all good. During the main phase, quick effect, you can banish one other Malice card from your hand or graveyard. So like I said, it didn't matter, right? But at least I got to use it because, like I said, that's all he was going to be able to do. And the only thing that would have been different is if this was, instead of Chessy Cat, it was Hair, right? Because Hair would have been able to set, which in hindsight, this could have been bad, right? Because if this was Hair, then he sets trap, and then he could trap, hit this, search the, I believe it's Dormouse, yes, Dormouse, and then add this back to hand. So then he would have Dormouse in hand, plus this in hand, plus Chessy Cat on field. So he could have went start, draw, fit, main phase, effect to draw 2, and then I have to immediately interact with it, and he has a normal summon. It could have been really bad, right? But luckily, I make the right read here that it's not something that I have to worry about, because like I said, if it was Dormouse or Chessy, I don't have anything to worry about. So end phase, he searches the Bestial Druid's Worm. Oh, all right, cool. And pass turn, he draws for turn. And so just keep in mind, right? To look at this board, we have 1 interruption, right? We have the ability to put a body on the field. Let's just go through hard interruption, right? Something that's actually gonna stop and hurt my opponent. So we have Send to Grave. We have Make Everything -800. We have Link Summon into something that's going to shuffle, right? So or it's SP to banish at least 1 interaction, or Gorgon, right? Plenty of different options. We have Hand Rip, Board Wipe, and at least 1 summon from the graveyard. And then on top of that, we have Ash Blossom, and on top of that, we obviously have the Trap Set, and then we have Magatama. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 interruptions, if I can count. Technically 10 because Mirror's gonna chain block whenever we tribute. So, because that's going to hurt our opponent because they are not going to be able to hand trap either my Murakumo or Futsu coming back. So we have 10 things that can hurt my opponent so far, right? The Fulos obviously doesn't matter, right? So he goes straight into Link Garibo, which makes sense, right? Because he knows I search trap, and he wants to turn that off. He doesn't want to deal with it. He wants me to have to play around his Garibo. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna go effect a special here. I'm gonna go ahead, activate this. I'm gonna target the prayers and add it back to hand. And then he goes terraforming. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Search his field spell. And then here he goes Chessy Cat, and I'm like, nope, not dealing with that. I'm gonna go ahead, stop him from drawing. And I was like, you know what? I want to make this live, so I went ahead and chained IP here to make SP, right? Because I'm not going to get a chance to do anything else, and I'm not going to shuffle this back into the deck for him to make it again with the Dynamundo. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to make IP. Not often a chance that you get to banish something from Malice and not get punished for it. So he goes ahead, normals Dormouse, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm going to go ahead, chain Magatama here, tribute this off. I'm going to pop it, right? Because like I said, this is an ignition effect. I'm just going to get it off the field. I know he has hair in hand. Or no, he doesn't have hair in hand because it's in the graveyard. So he has to have another hair, which is perfectly fine by me. And then obviously I'm going to get the effect of the Habakiri to search. And then I use Mirror here. I should have held the Mirror for the Murakumo. That's my bad. But at this point, I was like, he's got 3 cards in hand. He's still got to deal with IP. He's still got to deal with, the Omni Negate. And I still have the send, so if he makes a Link monster, if it doesn't trigger, I'm just going to send it to grave, right? So I was really, really confident at this point. He went activate this, to banish. I was like chain, and he was like, no, I don't want to discard a card. Which at this point I knew that the last 2 cards he had were important. If he did not want to discard them, I was like, okay, cool. Whatever he activates next, I probably need to stop. So he goes Druid's Worm, and I'm like, oh, well, that's 3 bodies, right? 1 with Druid's Worm, 2 with Chesty Cat, 3 because this is going to come back. I was like, nope, no way, not going to happen. We're going to go ahead, negate and destroy, because also if he links this off, it's going to be able to send something to grave, and if he has a link monster that has a trigger effect, he can chain block it. Nope, not dealing with it. Search, I go ahead and search the ritual spell here, because I was kind of out of searches. I'd already used, like, Magatama, Trap. I could have searched, like, another Prayers, but I didn't need that. So, here, I'm going to go ahead, board wipe, just get the last thing off the field, and then he goes, activates Talent, and I'm like, oh, God. I'm like, what is he going to do? I was like, I could have chained SP here, but he goes effect to draw 2, right? So if he was, like, effect to steal a monster, I was just going to go, like, activate SP, target this, target the Murakumo. Because now if he steals either one of these, he can't do anything with it. He could, like, crash and, like, kill this, or, you know, that would be really it, right? So he goes draw 2, and I'm like, oh, and then he concedes, right? Because, like, he'd already eaten his normal summon, he'd gone through all of his effects, he needed, like, another, like, Bestial plus another body, like, he needed a way to get to backup or something, and then backup still needs like a link monster on field. So perfect, all good. We're gonna go ahead and move on with Malice to game number 2. All right, guys. So this is game number 2 against Malice. For some reason, my Malice opponent decided to make me go first. I don't know if they. I think it's because they put like a bunch of Charmies in their deck. I think that was what they were expecting to play against me with, and like just draw like into engine to like crack my board, or maybe like playing like additional board breakers. I'm not quite sure, right? Because I was really confused because he activated the Perulia, and I was like, am I gonna summon on his turn? I don't think so, right? No. And I was like, so I literally sat here probably for like 10 seconds, and then I realized that this was blue, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I also had Prayers here, but I didn't want to activate Prayers because if I did, I didn't want to tribute off the Murakumo, and then if all I'm getting is like Habakiri, I'm like, I might as well just get the pre-prep here, right? Because if I go main phase and I do pre-prep and I get drolled, I'm just like, alright, cool. I get to go ahead, I ritual summon from hand, tribute the Habakiri, summon Murakumo, set Prayers, and then I just go normal summon Lurie, full Fiendsmith combo, and my opponent can't stop me, right? So it was perfect, right? Or if I got, actually, my apologies. The plan was do this, get drolled, normal Lurie, full combo. If I got nibbed, so be it, and then ritual from hand the Murakumo, because it wouldn't come back, right? If it got tributed. So that was the plan here, and he actually ashes it, and I'm like, all right, cool. Now I'm like, all right, well, I got the Ash out of the way. Now I can tribute off, right? So we go chain 1, chain 2 here. Being able to search, right? Again, we do chain 1 here, chain 2, right? That not chain 1, chain 2, because then it could be like Ash. You couldn't Ash me again, right? But let's say you had like Dominus Purge? Dominus Impulse. You could have done Dominus Impulse and Imperm, right? So, because this has an effect to summon. All good. So I go ahead and I search out these two. And then I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna summon. I'm gonna normal, and I wanted to try to bait interaction here if my opponent had it, and you know, giving them the 1 draw from the hand is fine. So, especially when you're getting full Fiendsmith combo on top of it. So we go ahead and do this. I go ahead and make DDD, and I actually get Impulse, right? So I get Impulse here, and I'm like, all right, well that sucks. Ritual from the hand, right? I go ahead, go search. I'm like, I grab Trap, I make IP, I set, and I pass. So just with this, right, super minimal board, I got Perulia, right? I played around Perulia, I gave him 1 draw. That's all I gave him, was 1 draw. And in here I have the Lacrima to bring back the Rec Room, right, to set Trap, which Trap is going to send a card off the field with the Desiree. That's 1 interruption. We have the IP Masquerena and whatever she's going to summon, right, which is more than likely at least 2 interruptions. Because whatever she summoned is going to either like negate something and or pop it or banish it. So like there's usually 2 different things that this happens with. And then we have Murakumo Ham Rip, we have Murakumo Board Wipe, and we have the Purification. And we have Mirror Engrave. Because we have Mirror Engrave, we can chain block Murakumo, and my opponent can't do anything about it. It's really I love having Mirror Drape. It's so good. So he starts off with normal summon Dormouse, and I'm just like, brother in Christ. All right. So we go immediately. I go ahead do this, right? And I just want to get this done now because I'm scared of Lingaribo, right? I'm scared of Lingaribo. And then he goes battle phase here and beats over IP. I did not realize he was going battle phase here. The prompt that I got, I didn't read it, I guess, or I don't think I got the proper prompt because I didn't remember like it being like, oh, your opponent's moving to the next phase. So I just let him beat over IP by accident, which is really bad. So he activates this. I'm like, nope. And then I have to bring this back now, which it's chain blocked, but really bad on my part because now I wasted IP. So like I literally lost like 2 interruptions because I'm an idiot. He goes ahead, activates talent, and I'm like, okay. And then I think he goes effect to steal. And yeah, he steals my Murakumo. And I'm like, it's already battle phase. So I force him to rip a card. He rips the other, I think he drew into another Perulia. And then he goes March Hare. I'm like, Bell, kill that. And then I think he just passes. And I think that's it. Yeah, end phase, I get Murakumo back. And I was like, well, that's cool. Draw phase, I activate this to special summon Saji, tribute this off. Chain 1, chain 2. Go ahead, search out prayers, get out Kusanagi. This comes back. And then I think, yeah, my opponent just surrenders. Because, like, they can't stop me. If they activate March Hare, I'm going to force them to discard a card. Like, it's just, there's just no winning, right? Just no winning. So that was it against Malice. Like I said, game 1, game 2. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next set of replays. Alright, guys, so this is against Mathmech. So we're going to see game 1 and game 3. Game 2 is literally like, I just brick, and it's just bad. I think like I brick, not terribly. I get drolled, and then like it's just game over, right? I just scoop because I'm like I can't do anything. So we're just gonna go straight to game 3 after this, right? So here, I actually lose rock paper scissors here, and my opponent starts off with Signet Mining. So you discard a card for cost, and then you can go ahead and search. And then this is really good because he sends Sigma, which is I think he's gonna bring back later, like off a circular, which is really really good here. So he searches circular. I'm like, and I'm looking at this. I'm like, so is this? Excuse me, is this pure Mathmech? Is this Malice Mathmech? Because they're all cybers, right? So I'm like in my head, I'm like panicking, right? So he goes, effect, send for cost Nabla, special. And then this triggers to summon back, right? So his discard was like awesome for him, right? And if you look at my hand here, I have 0 hand traps. I have Magatama to go into the board, prayers to go into the board. I have Engraver, but I also already have Tracked, and I have Saji, which is basically a normal summon. And it's not a good normal summon either. I would actually rather normal Aramasa. So he goes effect, he gets super fractorial here, and I'm like, and in my head, I'm like, I remember what Mathmech does, and I'm like, oh, this is bad. I'm like, he's going to set up like a huge board. So he goes ahead, brings out Diameter, and then he links off for Wicked. He brings back the Circular off of the effect of the, XZ's monster here, triggering this, getting him access to backup, and then I saw backup, and I'm like, oh. I'm looking at like a total of like 15 links here, like 15 bodies worth of link summoning is what I was looking at. I was so sad. It's probably not that much. It's probably like closer to like 12 or like 10, but so yeah, backup discard gets him Wizard. He discards the Ash, which I was like, that's crazy. So him discarding the Ash here, I was like, he's got either like crazy hand traps or crazy engine, and he just wants like all the engine, and he wants to keep the engine over the hand trap. So he goes ahead, he makes the Talker brings this back. Alright, then he goes Wizard brings back these XZs, and then he makes Terahertz, and I'm like, well, dang. And then he has the Parallels, and I'm like, alright, well that's gonna go ahead and get an extra body for him. Yep, there it is, boom. Terahertz goes ahead and sends the save worm, and I'm like, bro, like the whole time I'm playing this, I'm just like, how am I gonna break this board? So yeah, he makes 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. He has 11 link bodies worth of stuff on the field, and he got rid of stuff. I'm pretty sure, like he could have had more. Which I was just like, I was literally just like, I wanted to fold. I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna break this. So we go draw phase, and then I draw into a second prayers, and at first I was like, this is terrible, because now I've got a dead card. And then I was like, wait, he has just the worm. And I was like, does that negate effect or activation? If you read it, when your opponent activates a spell or trap card or effect while you control a Link 4 or higher Cyberus monster, quick effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard or field, negate the activation. I was like, hey, wait a minute, that's actually pretty good, because now that the second prayers is in my hand, I can actually use it. So I go ahead and activate it, and I'm like, I thought here for a second if I want to tribute Saji, and I was like, I want him to do it. And I figured making him think he was going to get more value out of negating it, I was going to tribute. Because I'm going to get this either way, right? Because I saw him discard Ash. So I either had a second Ash in hand, which is fine, right? Because if he does that, I'm just going to go, okay, activate prayers again, no tribute this time, and get to Habakiri, which is full combo. And then he goes the Heat Soul, draw another card, right? Cool. And then I'm like, so the Saji activates here. He doesn't chain anything, so I chain prayers to see if he has anything else he wants to do. And I'm like, nope. All right, cool. So now I've got Murakumo and Ritual Spell in hand, and I'm like, well, this is pretty good. So I was like, well, now what do I want to do here? I'm like, do I want to try to bait something out? And I was like, well, I could probably bait something out with Tract, right? So we go draw, standby main. I go ahead, activate Tract, discard the Lurie, and then he drolls me here on Lurie's effective summon. And at first I was like, oh no, and then I was like, oh wait, I already have Ritual Spell and the Ritual Monster that I want. And I was like, this droll literally does nothing. I still crack his board under roll. This is actually like crazy, right? So I'm like, I want to bait out more interruption, so I go Fiendsmith combo. He activates Terahertz, which puts Terahertz at 8,000, because why the hell not? And he does something smart here. He sends Meteorological Aggregator, because now my Lacrima is going to activate Chainlink 1, this is going to activate Chainlink 2 and target this to negate it, which really good on him, right? Prevents me from extending, excuse me. I had the urge to yawn there. And then so I'm like, alright, cool, that gets negated, no problem. I'm just going to go ahead and Ritual Summon now. And I Ritual Summon from hand, I go Chain 1 to Board Wipe, Chain 2, Chain 3. Thinking about this now, it should have been Chain 1, Chain 2, Chain 3. Because now, like I said, I don't leave myself open to anything. He has to like directly target one of these now. But not too big of a deal, because the last thing in the chain is Night Sword Serpent. So it would have to be like Chain Bell and then Imperm, and then I'm like, okay, because I still have Magatama to dodge Imperm. Right? Even though this is like trying to pop the board, I gotta dodge the Imperm. Excuse me. And like who's gonna Bell Night Sword Serpent? Nobody. Nobody good, right? So he goes ahead and chains Super Factorial here, which I knew he had set because I've seen him search it. So boom, 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 overlays all three. And then he goes ahead and I go to board wipe everything. He detaches to protect this, and then he gets to activate the effect to. So when it. We're going to go ahead and read this out. You can detach up to 3 materials from it when this card is XE summoned. Choose that many effects. You cannot choose the same effect twice. So you can send one random card from your opponent's hand to the graveyard, and then you can send one monster your opponent controls to the graveyard. And then you can send a spell or trap that your opponent controls to the graveyard, right? So he goes and activates this. He detaches 2. I chain the effect to, I think, discard. And then I chain a Magatama here, and I target to pop this, right? And then I think he negates it because he had the other one under it, I think, if I remember correctly, because he brought back out this. Give me 1 second here, just trying to see. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Oh yeah, Synchro XE using this card gains this following effect. Once returned during the turn that this card is supposed to win, when your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect can negate that effect. So yeah, I think he negates this on after I tribute it. So he goes, yeah, he negates this, and then I'm not sure why my Murakumo doesn't come back. Oh, my Murakumo doesn't come back because I'm under Droll, right? So, big whoop, right? I was like, that's fine. I should have just let it go, but I was like, oh well. So I just go ahead, I tribute summon out Engraver, crash over his Math Mech. He takes some damage. I contact fuse them. I go Engraver, come back, shuffling back Lurie, make DDD, and I still have like 3 interruptions here. So I still have like Lacrima come back, send Trap, so I can send something to Grave, and I still have DDD. So I was like, all right, I think this is okay. So I got 4 cards to deal with, and I got 3 interactions. And then, so he goes, effect to bring back from the grave. I'm like, that's fine. I'm more worried about the cards in hand. I'm going to go ahead, bring this back. Go ahead and send the trap to grave. Boom. Cool. And then he goes AI Connect, which I seen him add previous turn. So I stopped to read this, and I was like, it says, reveal a Cybers monster from your hand, apply the effects based on the attribute. You cannot supposed to summon for the rest of the turn after this effect resolve except Cybers monsters, which doesn't matter because Cybers monsters are broke. So he reveals a Dark, which is the backup Agnister that he added back to hand, which means that he can special summon the revealed monster, and if you do, add a level 4 or lower non-Dark Cybers monster from your deck to your hand. So I'm like, okay, he's going to get backup, search with backup, and then he's going to discard a card, right? And then he's going to be able to add another monster, right? So search, special backup, backup search, discard a card, and then get another card. And I was like, so he's going like basically +3 off of this card. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. Don't want to deal with that. You can't destroy. Cool. And then I think he normals the diameter, and then normal summon diameter. Yeah, because the card is normal summon. Target level 4, special summon it. And I was like, alright, well, that's a normal summon. I was going to wait. I wanted to negate and destroy that. Boom. Game over. Right? So, pretty good. Right? Could have been a lot worse. Could have been a lot better. Right? I probably could have left the Murakumo on the field and just let him send it. But, tomato, tomato. It worked out all in the end. And anyways, guys, I'll go ahead and be right back with game number 2. Alright guys, so this is actually game 3. The issue is that the game 2 it's literally just me breaking. It's literally just like, I had one play, and I think I get trolled, and I have no way to play around it, so I literally pass on, like, nothing. So, I just scoop there and, let him have it, because I don't want him to see my side deck or anything like that. And we just go game 3. Super confident I can win game 3 because I'm going first, so all good, right? Gonna go ahead, start the turn off by attributing the Saji here. And this gives me access to the Ritual Spell and Murakumo, which is exactly what I want. I have, unfortunately, both Engravers in hand here, which is really, really crud. Because now, right, I can't, like, double Engraver combo. I'd have to normal summon this out by tributing, and I did not want to do that. So, anyways here, we're going to go ahead and start off by Ritual Summoning, obviously from the hand, Murakumo, tribute Kusanagi, Night Sword Serpent, add back the Ritual Spell, and I was like, alright, cool, and then now I'm going to go ahead and activate Engraver here, right, because I wasn't really worried at that point. I was like, I already have everything that I need. Engraver, test for the droll, no droll. Cool. Go ahead, go full Fiendsmith combo here. Lacrima, dump. I go ahead and dump trap because the other Engraver is stuck in my freaking hand. Cool. Bring it out, contact fuse, and then we go ahead and summon back, make EDD, and I'm like, alright, ritual from deck. This time I go ahead and just make Futsu here because I'm like, I don't need to bring out the Ameno, at least not yet. So go ahead, do this. What I actually should have done, it should have been the, I think, the Habakiri, because I think there could have been a way I could have gotten to the mirror and then summoned this out from hand after searching it, because I wouldn't need 2 searches. I think I could have gotten through two searches, because I got prayers. So yeah, I could have gotten through prayers and everything else like that, but not that really big of a deal, right? I wasn't scared of Nib at this point anyways, because we have DDD. So I actually get a big value out of Habakiri here, because I haven't activated his effect yet. So I special the Aramasa to tribute this off, go chain 1, chain 2 to chain block, and this actually adds me another monster, and then I get to access trap. So here I got a bunch of bodies. I go ahead and link off the extra body plus the Night Sword Serpent, and then go ahead and pass on this, which is huge board, by the way. We got trap and prayers, Futsu. We've got the 2 interrupts from the Caesar. We've got board wipe, hand rip. We've got the IP Masquerena, whatever she's going to summon, and then we have in graveyard, obviously, the trap already live. 10 interruptions. 10 interruptions my opponent has to deal with, right? Awesome. So go ahead, let my opponent play. So he goes effective summon, I go chain. I'm going to go ahead. I just want to get this out as soon as possible, and this way, I'm not going to get anything off of this, so I probably could have just left it in the graveyard. But you know, I kind of wanted the fiend on the field, because that way, in case he gets rid of some stuff and whatnot, I wanted to be able to have the chance to make a bow, because in case he was able to out one of my my Murakumo some way crazy, something like that. I just wanted to be able to, you know, make sure I had access to it, which honestly kind of doesn't make sense, because DDD Wave High King Caesar is a fiend. So not that big of a deal, but fine. Gonna go ahead, just bring out Lacrima just so I have an extra body. I'm gonna go ahead and get the most important one out of the way, which is Kusanagi, so I can add Bragg Prayers. And then he goes ahead, and this is to take, I'm pretty sure. If I remember correctly, that is to take. So I go chain Purification immediately just to negate it, right? I've said so many times about keeping the trap in. Obviously, I know I'm going first here, right? So I'm going to put it in. But there's been so many times that losing the dice roll, winning the dice roll, doesn't matter. You know, game 1, having the trap is good. It's just always been good. There's even been times where I've had to make a bow, and I've drawn into it for, you know, whatever reason. And then since I drew into it, I went ahead and I discarded it, or I added it during one of the ritual monsters got tributed. So I added it to hand, and then my opponent did something. I think they activated a continuous spell. I was like, oh. I was like, okay, a bow, and then they were like, and I was like, discard for cost, the trap, and my opponent didn't respond to it. I popped it, and then this was live for me to I think Reborn Murakumo and ended up board wiping him, because I actually didn't have a way to get back to it, because I think Futsu was negated. I got hit by Droplet, and he hit everything. I think he hit this, and this. So it was really bad. And obviously I didn't have trap to stop it. So go ahead, we bring this back, and then I also choose not to board wipe here, because I'm like, I don't really need to yet. And then now he decides to make Linkaribo, and I'm like, well, a little late. I already used the trap. He activates this effect in hand. I'm like, nope, gonna go ahead and stop that, because that's the Exceed, and then that's gonna get him 2 additional bodies. Don't need it. And that also gives him access to the AI thing, I think, as well. Yeah. Special so you can special this to a zone this card points to. You special it here. Yeah, and they special the number from deck. I didn't want to have to deal with that. So he brings out the addition here, and then he makes Wicked, and I stopped here for a second. I was like, wait, Wicked? And I was like, does he have a quick effect to summon? I was like, I don't think so. So I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna go ahead and trap here, because this is the best time for me to trap. I go ahead, send it off the field. I think this is normal summon diameter. Yeah, normal summon. And I'm like, well, negate and destroy, man. And that's GG's, right? Game over, right? Couldn't really play into the board. I still had Link Summon. I still had prayers. I still had, you know, board wipe, right, to still use. I still had Dynamundo to shuffle, whatever I could have possibly imagined, right? So, and then look at all this follow-up as well. Like, there's just no way. So, that's it for the games actually against MathMech. And we're going to go ahead and move on to Lunalight. Alright guys, so this is game 1 against Lunalight. I was fortunate enough to win the rock, paper, scissors here. And I think from what I remember, so from my understanding, Lunalight plays a lot of board breakers, right? So they play like, you know, Forbidden Droplet, they play Book of Eclipse, they play like Imperm. I don't know what else besides that. From my understanding, they play it more like I said, going, like, they have, like, quick play stuff that they can do to, like, board break or whatnot. And I'm like, that's cool, right? Because, like for example, like, Liger Dancer, they can set, like, Book of Eclipse because Liger Dancer is unaffected by anything that's not a effect of a Lunalight. So they could, like, Book of Eclipse you on when, like, they play first, set Book of Eclipse, they turn 2, let you play, and then, like, you go, like, battle phase or whatever, and they go, okay, Book of Eclipse. And then they just book all your stuff face down, and then the Liger Dancer stays up, and then it goes quick effect, blows the board, and then just removes all your stuff. It's like, it's super broken, right? It's basically like Tempai if you could go first and go second, and could play board breakers and play hand traps, which, I mean, technically Tempai did, but it's just also more resilient because the body it puts up is a 3,800. Which is also, by the way, really annoying that it's unaffected by card effects, period. If you notice that that says on Liger Dancer, it literally says unaffected by card effects unless they're Lunalight. Which means, like, Habakiri, its effect to make your opponent's monsters lose 800 doesn't work. Because it's an effect. So, like, Baguska doesn't do anything, right? Even though it's a continuous effect. It's super, super annoying. So, like, I can't, like, make Murakumo with Habakiri on field and just beat over the Lunalight. It doesn't happen. I have 2 outs to the Lunalight boss monster, right? Before we get started, I do want to talk about this. We have two very solid outs. One, Wosu. Wosu, very easy. You just go whoosh, tribute summon. Go by. Right? Perfect counter. 2, Desiree can, if you equip it with the Agnum Day, can beat over it. Those are the only 2 things. Outside of that, you're screwed. You literally can't do anything about it. You can't imperm the card, can't drop with the card, can't. Like I said, it's a tower. It's completely unaffected. It's super annoying. So, anyways, we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna go Murakumo for Saji. Saji gonna grab Ritual Spell, and then I'm gonna activate pre-prep here. Because I'm like, well, if I didn't get ashed on that, right, I want to bait the ash. Because at this point, right, I have enough in hand here that I'm like, I can already, like, go. So go ahead, do this. Get, Ritual Summon this out. Chain 1, Chain 2. Special Summon, add back to hand. Special from deck. Go ahead and get access to Prayers. And then here, I could have gone Prayers. Tribute off the Habakiri instead, but I go ahead and choose just to go Futsu here, which, to be honest, isn't like exactly a misplay, because now I'm going to get, like, you know, a bunch more advantage, right? Because I'm going to be able to add, I'm going to be able to special, and then this is going to add me the Magatama, right? So I went, like, plus 1, 2, 3, right? Which is really good, or, like, plus 2. Also here, if you notice, I make the Moon, right? So like I said, this is like a little bit older gameplay when I was still playing Moon before the ban list. As you can see, it was made with 2 4s. It would have been with Exiton anyways, and it actually would have been better because with Exiton you don't banish Night Sword Serpent because it becomes a material, so it doesn't technically leave the field, but it's still there, and then it can go to grave because it was XC's material, which is really good. So go ahead, summon this off. We go ahead. I'm trying to just bait interruption here, and also if now at this point, if I get Nibiru'd, I can still bring Murakumo back, search like Prayers, pop the Nib on their side, keep the token, normal summon out Aramasu, make the IP Masquerena, and then I can go ahead and ritual from the graveyard, tribute off the Murakumo. Obviously, it's not going to come back and get to Futsu, right? So I still had like a bunch of interaction here, right? So I'm just like trying to force Nib. So no Nib, cool. I go ahead and ritual here. be able to bring this back. I search prayers anyways. Set this, and then the one thing I could have done instead here is this should have been here. I could have normaled this and then used this and the Aramasa for a copy of SP. Otherwise, just fine. Not really that big of a deal. Like I said, he activates Book of Eclipse here, and I was like, well, that like cooks like everything. I'm like, that's really bad. So I'm like, nope. I'm gonna go ahead and negate that. And then I go effect to surge, and then my opponent just scoops, right? And I was super confused. And I was like, why is he just scooping? And I was like, probably because he didn't want me to know what he was playing. So I was like, all right, fair enough, right? So anyways, we're going to go ahead and move on to game number 2. All right, guys, game number 2. So here we have Fuelos, Perulia, the Habakiri, the Ghost Bell Haunted Mansion, and Pre-Prep, which is pretty good, right? Pre-Prep can get, since I already have a Ritual Monster, I can get the Ritual. So even if I get Drolled here, right, I still can Ritual Summon from hand, which is really good because I'm going to search Habakiri plus the Mirror. And I make a grave mistake here. Pretty big mistake, actually. So I forget that in the main phase, my opponent has priority, right, to do anything that they want, right? Even if it's like a normal spell card or anything like that, right? Because I have a quick effect. And I was like, ooh. And I was like, hopefully he activates this, he searches this, and like I still didn't notice. I'm pretty sure I thought that this was Fuelos. I thought I had double Fuelo. So he normal summons, and I was like, okay, and then I looked down at my hand and I'm like, oh, brother, no. I'm dumb. And I was like, I could have had a free draw. So he goes ahead. This is full combo, by the way. This normal summon here of Leo, this is full combo, right? So, fun fact for anybody that doesn't know anything about Lunalite, this is, like I said, wombo combo. He goes, he gets Masquerade, sends to grave. I'm like, cool. Now I chain Fool, right? Because this goes effect to summon from the deck, right? I'm like, all right, and then I draw into Thrust. This is, like I said, slightly older thing. I was playing like board breaker-ish cards, right? And like using Thrust to get to them. I think I had like 2 Thrust. And then it was like, I think it was like 1 Raigeki, 1 Duster. So the plan is to like activate something, get like Ashed or Drolled or something. Or I'm sorry, Ashed, Belled, or anything besides Droll, and then activate Thrust, and then like respectively clear whatever I need to be cleared, which was either back row or front row, right? So I was like, so this was like testing time. This was effect to summon. I was like, nope, negate. And then he goes ahead, bounces this back to hand, reactivates it, and then he goes ahead and heavy polys. And then on the activation of heavy poly, I was like, oh no. So he makes the Saber Dancer here, which must be fused to summon, gains 200 for each beast warrior monster that is banished or in the graveyard. So it gains like a bunch here, which is, pretty good during your main phase, except the turn that this card was sent to the graveyard. You can banish this card from the graveyard, target a fused monster you control. It gains 3,000 attack until the end of this turn. So with this is like basically for them to OTK with Liger Dancer. They go ahead and like this gets like sent to grave for whatever reason. Then like next turn, they just go ahead, banish this out of the graveyard, and then, they, like, target Liger Dancer, and then they just, it's a Lunalite, it's affected, it gains 3,000, it's at 68, and then they just go boom, 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 and they try to kill you, right? Basically, Tempai. So go ahead, discard for the Perfume here, the special summon. Also, by the way, Lancia is actually really good against this deck because they have a lot of stuff that, like, the Perfume that they can just perpetually keep banishing to keep getting stuff. So, yeah, pretty good. So he actually activates Thrust here for Black Goat last, and I was like, oh, well, that's pretty good, right? And then, here he goes Perfume, Banish, gets the Scale. Scale allows him to fusion summon using the graveyard and the field, and then this is where he makes the Liger Dancer. And at this point, I'm like, oh, that's not good, brother. I really can't do anything about it. So, I actually start off by, like, again, doing something really bad. Like, this whole thing is bad. I go Imperm, and I try to Imperm this. Fun fact. Your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. Apparently, Neos doesn't fucking read. So, guess what I had to do? I had to target Liger Dancer. And I just scooped. I was so upset. I was like, fine. We're going to game 3. Whatever. So, I'll be right back with game 3. Alright, guys. Game 3 against Lunalight. We are going first. Not the greatest hand. You know, we've got 2 starters, but they're the same starter. So, we only have 1 starter. And it's a once per duel, which is also not good because that means I can't just do it again next turn. I have something that would be really good if I was going second, but I'm not, because then I could be like, activate this tribute, you know, pop something, get ritual spell. So I really need Habakiri to resolve here, right? So I'm like, draw, standby main, cool, activate, tribute, effect, search, draw? No draw. Let's go. Ritual summon, here, mistake. Should have ritual this. Didn't need to ritual summon this first. Should have ritual summoned this. Doesn't matter. Go ahead. Boom boom. Go ahead. Add this back. Ritual summon from deck. Again, also, this is, like I said, slightly older. So, I had 2 Murakuma. That's why I summoned that from hand first. However, now I only play 1 Murakuma. So, like I said, you only need 1, by the way. Like I said, this is when I was in my infancy stages, like, figuring this deck out. So, like I said, that's why you're going to see misplays. So, go ahead. Prayers here. Tribute this off. Special summon. Cool. Effect. What I should have done here is add Aramasu, Special Aramasu, and then I could have chain blocked this. But, again, like I said, we were learning here. Again, we link these 2 off. Make Moon. Again, it's better to make Exiton here because this would mean that this wouldn't be banished. And then, obviously, you know, it's the same thing. It's the same thing but better. Same thing but better. So, Lacrima Dump. Contact Fuse, Effect to Reborn, cool, make DDD. Again, this should be in the middle column right here, so it can't be, you know, hit by, like, you know, freaking Anima or whatever, because just in case. But in case I want to make IP later, which I think I actually could, so I go ahead, Ritual, and then, like, for example here, right, I could have done, this could have been here, this could have, so DDD could have been in the middle. This could have been under here, right? So that could have had these 2 here. And then these 2 could have been linked off for IP, right? So they would have been all right here. So which would have given me an additional, like, 2 interruptions. Which, I mean, I have Imperm and Magatama, which is pretty good. But I also have the extra Murakumo in hand, which means I don't need to use the Murakumo on field if I don't want to. But I have Mirror, which means I can chain block it. So total interruptions here, we've got 1 with the Lacrima. She's going to be able to send a Grave the Trap, and then the Trap's going to be able to, you know, do the thing, send Desiree, and then send a card from field to grave. Then we have the at least 1 summon. We have the -800. We have the 2 negate activation, destroyed, attempt to special, hand rip, board wipe, the Imperm, and then Magatama. So in total, we have 9 interruptions, which is very good, in my opinion. It would have been more. We could have had 10 to 11 if we would have made IP. Just keep that in mind. So he activates this immediately. I stop this. You have this is a starter, right? So starter and extender, right? So if they activate this, if you have a way to stop it, because you can't Ghost Ogre this, right? Because it triggers an activation to search. If you have a way like something like Magatama, for example, to stop this, you should. Because, like I said, it's a starter. And you don't want them to have access to it. I also chain the Lacrima here. And then I'm also able to go... I don't know why I do this, to be honest. Like I said, infancy stages here. This is like almost a week ago of me putting this deck together and learning it. So I go chain 1, chain 2 here. Afterwards, I'm like, wait, why did I do that? I did it because I'm not going to be able to tribute now the Murakumo. Right? So I was like, I might as well protect this. Right? So I'm like, you know, I summon this. This goes in. The Lacrima activates on res and dumps the trap. And then my opponent is allowed to continue. They activate Book of Eclipse. So I'm like, well, that's not good. They go ahead and discard. And I'm like, alright, cool. They normal summon. I imperm. And I think that's it. So yeah, they go Perfume, and I just don't think they have enough gas here. So I need to keep this off the field, right? Because once returned, you can send a Lunar Line monster from your deck or exit the graveyard, and it becomes the name. This is how they like cheat out the fusion, because it copies the name. So I send it to grave, and then I think, yeah, so we do that. And then now he doesn't have enough stuff on field to be able to do anything here. So yeah, he summons this, and then like that's it. Like he can't extend any further. He bounces it back, and that's it. So we were able to pull out the dub against Lunar Light, which is really, really good, right? So awesome. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the next set of replays. All right, guys, I saved the best for last. So here we have the mirror match, right? And you're going to see why I'm doing air quotes, right? You know, you might be like, oh, what do you mean mirror match? What's with the air quotes, Neos? Trust me, it's spicy, and it proves this matchup right here why this version is the best way to play Mitsu, and it's with the Fiendsmith cards. So we're going to go ahead, right? I start off with not a good hand. Right, not particularly bad, right? Not, you know, it's not like I bricked super bad. I only have one starter, right? So if I get Ashed or Drolled or anything, it's gonna really suck. So I go ahead, summon, and get the ritual spell here, and I'm like, oh, we're good, cool, we're good, no Droll. I go ahead, ritual summon from hand here, boom, boom. We get access to the body on board with the Night Sword Serpent, and then Kusanagi obviously adding this back. We summon from deck this time. Go ahead, effect a search, and then I actually grab Futsu out here, right? I've already gone through prayers, right? I can't go through prayers again, and I was like, well, I need something that's worth a value. So I was like, well, let me just grab Futsu, right? Because I already have Mirror, right? So now if I go later on and I get to summon 5, if they nib me, it's not going to matter because I still have Futsu. Right, so at this point, I've summoned 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So I have 4. This is my 4th summon. This is summon 5, right? They could nib me here, which if they nib me here, great, right? Because then all this gets distributed. This comes back. I get to search. I search probably like trap, and then I go activate this, summon this, and pass on nib, bell, imperm, trap, and Futsu. Plus, I'll have a token, which means I can normal summon out Bell and make IP, which is actually better. So I was like, cool. And I'm like, all right, ritual summon here. And then I get access to trap, special back the Futsu. Or, I'm sorry, Murakumo. And then here I'm actually able to make IP. I set the 2, and I go ahead and pass. If I get nibbed here, it really doesn't matter, right? I let him nib me. All this stuff comes back. I can still normal summon and like make another interaction here with a Link monster. It just won't be IP because I only play 1. So he activates Fool here, which is actually really smart because he wants it to be if I Link summon, he wants to be able to draw a card, which is really smart, right? So he goes ahead, activates prayers, and tributes off the Aramasa. And so here's what's funny, right? I'm like, you know what? I'm going to bell that, right? I don't want him to get access to both monsters. I don't want him to... I want to keep him off of Habakiri and especially Murakumo for as long as I can, right? I don't want him to get access to that. So he goes... I go ahead and negate that. He goes effect to search, and then he adds to hand Murakumo. And I'm like, okay. And then he activates prayers again. And I'm like, all right, well, I might as well make him discard, because now he's got 2 cards in hand. Or I'm sorry, I just straight up negate it. Yeah, I was like, you know what? I don't want him to add stuff to hand anymore. I probably should have Murakumo'd here to just hand rip him to keep him on like no cards, but all good. Oh, I'm sorry. I did Murakumo him. I Murakumo'd him on Aramasa, and that's when he chained the second prayers. My apologies, right? So basically he went trigger effect. I went chain, discard a card because he only had 3. He already had 3 cards. And then he had the second prayers. And I was like, well, darn. Let me negate that. So he goes, Habakiri. Adds Habakiri. I go ahead and search out prayers. I special summon this. And I'm like, well, you know, that's fine. Go to main phase. Habakiri effect. Summon special Saji. And then we go tribute. And then I get the trigger here because he did special summon. I'm going to go ahead and target the Saji. and I go Saji here because I want to add the Magatama here, right? Because now, let's say he is able to crack into my board. Going back into it, I have prayers, I have trap to special, and I have Magatama to tribute and pop something that he has on the field, right? Or at least force interaction from him, right? So he goes ritual summon here from hand. Luckily enough, it's not Murakumo, it's the Habakiri. So we'll go ahead, activate effect, and here's where I mess up. I bring back the Habakiri. I should have left this engrave for IP. That way IP could be used for itself plus the Amano Murakumo to make Dynamundo, and then Dynamundo could have shuffled whatever he had plus the Murakumo, or I'm sorry, the Habakiri back into the deck. And then I could have kept Murakumo in graveyard, giving me access to the board wipe because I could have been effect, tribute off, special back the Amino, and board wiped him, right? So error on my part, right? Slight oopsie, it happens, right? And then I go effect again, and this is where I noticed, right? Because I summoned this because I looked through my grave and I'm like, wait, I have another Habakiri or another ritual engrave. I'm like, oh, that's not good. That's fine. Go ahead, activate effect, and then I go ahead and chain here just to shuffle anyways. And I'm not gonna shuffle this, but you know that's fine. I go ahead, grab ritual spell back because I don't need anything else, and I just shuffle the Habakiri here, both Habakiris actually, mine and his. So the reason I do this, I know he has ritual spell in hand. I don't want him to be able to ritual summon Murakumo, so I'm taking away his ability to tribute that off, because now, right? He would have been able to get value not only from the ritual summon, he also would have been able to get value off of the Habakiri because it would have been able to search and then special back. So I effectively, you know, cut him from 1, 2, 3, going +3, right? Basically, right? Body, ritual summon, and obviously search. So he normals Fua, and I'm like, well, this must be desperate. And then he makes 2 Garas, and then he goes effect to draw 2, discard 1. I'm like, well, that's not happening. Imperm. And then he goes Jokel, and I'm like, oh, this is where the spice comes in. So he's playing K9, right? I actually missed the Jokel on discard, believe it or not. I literally missed it. So this was like a jump scare for me, and I was like, well, this is bad. I was like, but I have Nib. So I nibbed both of us, as you could hear right there. I nibbed everything off the field. He gets this huge token that's 15,000. It's literally, if I would have put this in attack, you could have went battle phase and killed me. If this was obviously, if mine was also an attack. So Futsu's gonna activate, come back. I get ritual spell because the mirror, because then I can bring back the Murakumo, and then I can go chainlink 1, Futsu to bring itself back, chainlink 2, Murakumo, pop the token. Now don't have to worry about it. But my opponent just scoops. You know, that's it. So, all right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and be right back with replay number 2. All right, guys. Replay number 2 of Mitsurugi Fiendsmith against Mitsurugi K9. So, as you saw right there, right, I was able to put up enough stuff that my opponent wasn't able to play into me, right? So now we're gonna actually watch where I had to play, obviously, into my opponent, right? So him having the ability to access all the K9 stuff is really good. And we have Fua here. It is our only hand trap, which is not terrible. We have 2 starters, right? And starter / extender, which is pretty good. So he goes chain 1, chain 2. I'm like, all right, cool. I make another blunder here, right? This was late at night. At the time of recording it, it's 3 a.m. in the morning. But what I should have done here is he goes, grabs ritual spell, right? I'm like, all right, cool. He goes, activate ritual spell, main phase. I should have chained Fualos here. I knew he had Murakumo in hand. I knew he was going to summon it, and I did a Fualos. Can anyone guess why I should have Fualos earlier? If he has Ash, he's just going to Ash it. If he doesn't have Ash, I'm forced to discard because he wants to keep my hand small. I don't have anything in this hand I want to discard. I have nothing that's affordable discard. Besides Kusanagi, which I actually really still don't want to send this guy to grave for the cost. So I boo boo here, and on resolution here, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna activate it. Um, I could have waited for him to summon from deck, but it's fine. He goes ahead, Azuna's with the it makes Ripper. I get a draw, and I think that's it. I think I get literally like one draw. He gives me one draw. Yeah, he goes Case, gets the other Azuna for next turn, and passes to me, I think. Oh yeah, and he thrust sets trap. So this is really good. So he's got XYZ rank up. He's got negate graveyard or hand. He's got hand rip, board ripe, omni negate, and whatever the other cards are set. So I'm like, oh lord. And now I draw a dead card, right? Now it would have been nice to have a dead card to discard. So I go prayers. I just start off with this. I wanted to bait the trap here. I actually wanted him to trap this, and I was like, and he doesn't, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. I discard the the pre-prepper rights here, which is actually pretty nice. I search the Murakuma, the Amino, I'm sorry, Murakuma, and then I go chain 1 here, chain 2. To chain block, obviously, my Habakiri, because I need to get to Ritual Spell here. I have to, right? I can't go main phase and then go this, but if I get ashed, I'm like dead, right? I'm like, I just die. So, and then I'm also going to try to bait Ash with the Fiendsmith track. So, he goes ahead and he traps here, which I'm confused why. Maybe he thought it was the other way around, or maybe he just didn't want me to add the prayers back, which is what I targeted. Because it was dead, right? So he knew it was just going to be something for follow-up next turn. Or at least should have known, right? So I'm like, okay, that's fine. This comes back. He searches the mirror. I'm obviously probably for follow-up. And then, so that tells me that he probably has a ritual body in hand in addition to this, right? So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go pre-prep here, right? Because I don't think he has Ash. And he judgments me. I'm like, all right, cool 1-0, bro. Boom. I'm like, that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and ritual from hand now. Because I want to clear the board. Because if I go tracked here, I'm just going to get hit with Ripper, I realized, right? So I was like, that's fine. And then he goes Chain Azuna, and I'm like, I could have just let this go, but I decided to chain here to force him to discard, hoping that he would discard something else, and then this would summon and then just get board wiped. Luckily, he's smart. He just discards the Azuna, so that's fine. And then I just go, and I just wipe his board, right? So he doesn't get the chance to XYZ, which I believe is this one right here. So I was like, cool. That's absolutely awesome. And then the judgment was the only thing that was unknown. So now I have Habakiri and I have Track, and then I obviously get access to Magatama here. So now I have full Fiendsmith combo, right? I activate Track, my opponent scoops. It's game over, right? So this, in my opinion, clearly proves that Fiendsmith is the superior engine played with the Mitsurugi, right? You're able to grind with your opponent. You're able to constantly put up threats. You're able to add bodies to field, right? The Mitsurugi engine is inherently very grindy, right? You can grind with it, get advantage. The K9 package is not like that. They're very good at being like, they just kind of like vomit their crap all over the field, right? Joku plus, Lantern and Azuna, right? They can set up like 3 XYZ bodies, and then they go, they go pass, right? Maybe 4, right? Depending on like obviously like when we get the new support and stuff, right? But the Fiendsmith stuff actually works really well with the Mitsurugi stuff, where obviously if you only open up Fiendsmith, you can't bridge into Mitsurugi, but Mitsurugi can bridge into Fiendsmith, which is why the Mitsurugi engine is bigger than the Fiendsmith package, right? If I could bridge both ways, like example like Feral Imps, I might play like a bigger Fiendsmith package, but rest in peace my boy Feral Imps. So anyways, guys, that's going to be it for the video. I really do hope that y'all enjoyed. It is decently long, but like I said, I wanted to bring y'all a lot of good content. I'm actually going to go ahead, put my face back on the screen so that y'all can see me. Like I said, guys, thank you so much. Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, all the other good stuff. Hit the notification bell. That way you know when I post more awesome content like this. And yeah, guys, I'll just catch y'all in the next one. Peace.